Now we're going to talk about there's control, randomization, and replication. There's three basic core components of a good statistical experiment. I just talked about control. Randomization is another huge thing. It's a huge concept in statistics in general because its main role is to minimize bias or favoritism. Even in sample design, if you use a convenience sample, you're just going to pick your friends. But in experiments, what it does is it really serves two purposes. So the first thing it does is it prevents a statistician from playing favorites. So if you have a possibly life-changing weight loss drug, and half the people in your experiment are going to get that weight loss drug, and the other one are going to get a placebo, like a sugar pill, you're going to be tempted to take the most obese people and assign them the real treatment. And now what happens is the results will be confounded because we won't know if it's the medicine or the person's starting weight that caused the results, and you've ruined the experiment. The other thing that randomization does is it equalizes or spreads out the effect of confounding variables you might not have thought of when you do an experiment. There's all these other variables besides the factor that could affect your response. A, B, C, or D. There's a bunch of them, and you're not going to be able to think of all of them to control for them. So if you're doing an experiment, like let's say with fertilizer and tomato growth, you may be tempted to give the first 100 tomato plants you come across in a nursery fertilizer A, and the next 100 plants fertilizer B, because it's easy to do. You may not even realize that one part of the nursery gets more sunlight than another part. This would ruin the results. But if you assigned each tomato plant a number and randomly picked out of a hat, the first 100 to receive fertilizer A and the rest would get B, you'd be putting plants from all over the nursery in both treatment groups, spreading out the sunlight differentiation issue between both treatment groups. So it kind of is a way of, not ruining your experiments by randomly assigning two treatment groups.